Which day you were saying? Hello.
Will be in a second. Okay, ready? Steady. Here we go.
Right, okay.
Okay, so we are once again live
Oh, what?
broadcasting universal communication about our third show or fourth show, and obviously we'll be inviting people as we begin this broadcast. With me today I have Heather and Stuart. You there, guys?
I am.
I am as well.
I am what I am. There you go. Perfect. Okay, so once again, we're just going to bring some hope to everyone who ever listens to the broadcast now and in the future. And we are hoping to just let everyone know that, you know, this is how we got through this crisis. By sticking together in friendship across the ocean and, you know, utilizing our friendship to reach out to everyone who listens, or you know, that's all I want to say, really. Otherwise, I'm waffling. Help, guys.
Well, you can waffle if you want to. As Dave said, it is about bringing hope. I'm Stuart, and I'm in the same country as Dave, the UK, and Heather, she's in America, and we look forward to hearing from what you're doing, you know, to keep yourself from going insane. You're on lockdown, share your thoughts and feelings about it all.
Heather, are you still kind of in semi-lockdown there? There's no change overnight or nothing?
No, there's been no change overnight here. We are still under a stay-at-home order, which apparently nobody wants to listen to but me, but that's okay. As long as I stay home, I can't get it.
Well, yeah, you know. Just saying.
But yeah, we're under a stay-at-home order here in the United States. I want to give a shout out to everybody on the front lines, and it goes from the people actually healing or trying to attempt to heal the people that are infected, all the way down to the grocery shop workers, all the way down to the truck drivers and daycare workers that are watching their kids, so that these people can go out here and provide for everybody as a whole.
Cool. Yes.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out the same, but also I want to add anyone who knows me, who's friends with me. I hope you're doing well, and anyone who isn't, you know. But the shout out to all the care workers and the shop assistants and everyone that's making this all go round. Thank you very much. You're doing a great job, and you're brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Yeah, I just want to thank everyone who is sticking together. It's a humanitarian effort, and reach really just across the globe. It's not even about what country you're in, or what nation you're in, or what city you're in, or what, you know. This is a global problem. It's a global issue. It's a global thing. So just reach out to every single of the health workers and the truck drivers and the food distributors and everybody who's making this function and go round. You know, and just a great big huge praise to them, because without your humanitarian effort, outside of creed, outside of religion, outside of tradition, outside of belief, outside of, you know, cursing, outside of war, outside of rage, outside of hate, outside of everything negative, comes positivity. And we thank you for that positivity.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah. You know, we really are I feel pulling together as a nation, and really are, working hard to make a better world. And I think it will become that. Call me an optimist, all you like. Call me a pessimist, whatever, all you like. Call me anything you like. But what I see is a global humanitarian love for one another. That's what I see.
We haven't had something like this since what, World War II, where everybody came together to go against Germany, right?
Well, yeah, and in this case, it's, I mean, the invisible enemy, as it's been called. It's not even against a nation, is it? It's against.
No, it's against everybody. It don't care if you're black, white, purple, green, blue, gray, yellow. It doesn't matter what color you are.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter how old you are.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's not.
It's not got class in mind either.
No, exactly.
No.
I mean, our Prime Minister has got it. Some of our cabinet members have got it. We are seriously in a situation where people are waking up, as it were.
Can I cut in for a minute?
Yeah, of course you can, Heather. Yeah,
Okay. So something I forgot to mention was when I was talking about color and everything, it also does not matter what religion you are. If you have faith or not at this moment, okay? I only say that because a priest here in the United States has got it. So it doesn't matter. It's not attacking people for
certain type of religion.
exactly. It doesn't matter who you are, how much wealth, anything. If you're meant to get it, you're gonna get it.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, look, I can only see the global picture, and I'm not a specialist or anyone with a recognized academic mind, but I think that realistically speaking, all academics can see that the more we hold borders open, the longer there is going to be a stress, because you're allowing people to integrate. And I think that's a major part of the problem right now. If we've got lockdown in one area, we do need lockdown in all areas. I know the HWO is calling for this. WHO, World Health. Sorry, it's the WHO, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the WHO.
Doctor Who. There you go. So we know that the WHO is calling for. No, it's not adultery. Wait a minute. Not the band. Not the famous band. My generation. Talking about my generation. Okay.
It's the World Health Organization, just so everybody knows.
Exactly, the WHO, the World Health Organization. They are calling for us all to unite in this way to look after one another and have respect for one another. And that means staying at home and sticking to stringent measures. And, unless we do that, we really aren't showing much care for what's going on.
Well, United States, our president, Mr. Mr. Trump, will not enforce a lockdown. We can go state by state. There are now, I think, 5 states that have it mandatory that if you leave your house and you are not going to a grocery store, if you are not walking your dog, you cannot be outside for more than an hour at a time. That includes walking the dog and whatnot or whatever. And if you don't do that, you get charged with a misdemeanor. It is a year up in prison or a $5,000 fine.
Is that what Mr. Orange has put in place?
No, Mr. Orange did not put that in place because he won't put that in place. He has the okay. Here's how the United States works. Mr. Orange or President Trump, whatever you guys want to call him, is the lead. Well, he can say, well, I want the whole place locked down. Nobody can go state to state. They all have to stay in their homes. until this is all over. He refuses to do that. So our states are slowly doing it. We have 5 states. All United States are on a stay-at-home order. You can't get put in jail for it. You can't get a fine for it. Nothing. They're just asking you to stay in your home. But there are 5 states that have decided they were going to put it as a law, where your first offense, you go in front of a judge and you plead not guilty or guilty. You have your little trial if you plead not guilty. And if you lose, you can face up to a year in prison and or a $5,000 fine.
Well, at least somebody's got a brain in their head. You know, I mean, it's a shame that we have to put on such measures for people just to use a bit of common sense, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's horrible.
It is.
I mean, you know, it's an outrage, really. But you know, we really are. I mean, am I coming through clear, by the way, or do I need to put?
Yes, you are.
You're coming through clear.
Okay, good. Because yesterday I noticed I was lower voice than everyone else, which is a bit annoying.
Everybody's clear today, and that's good.
Okay, that's all right. So yeah, I mean, you know, we really have to recognise that you know, there are measures in place deliberately, and that these measures, you know, although they're not being followed all the way around the world because people are taking a different approach. I mean, I was listening to the news just prior to coming on air. You know, British news, whatever, Sky News, kind of what I'm using, but basically, you know, with cross-referencing that with other news, you can still get the general point that that countries are doing their own thing. There isn't a set model, and I really can't see how that's healthy. Personally.
No, I can't. Because surely one model works. We should blanket that model throughout the world to allow it to work for the whole system.
I mean, China seem to be blotting it out. The map seems to be clearing it, dare I say. As to whether they are reporting their figures correctly, well, that could be in some disrepute. But at least, respectfully, if we lock down, you know, the states and stop people flying between states, Heather, it might make some. What do you think about that?
I agree. I totally agree. If we do not lock it down, because they cannot prove, everybody keeps saying here in America, oh, once you get this, you can't get it again. It is not proven. Do not listen. Nobody knows if you can get it a second time. Nobody knows how many times these people have had it before. Nobody knows in China how long these people have had it, or anywhere else, because we honestly don't know where it came from. Not pointing fingers
that's
here.
true, because even the testing, the world has not been prepared for this kind of epidemic or this kind of pandemic, and therefore it hasn't been prepared to even do the tests. And the tests are limited to people with severe cases, so therefore not everybody can be tested. So how the hell do you know who's had it and who hasn't, apart from those that are tested because they're already in dire need?
Exactly. And just so everybody who's listening understands what we are talking about when we say the numbers are going up. Yesterday, the number was at 782 when I went to bed last night, 7,882, okay? Or 782,000. There we go. This morning, when I got up, which is about 12 hours later, it is 803,065 people in all of the world it has got to.
We're
That's a lot.
It's a lot of people. Yeah,
it is.
We are reporting this as it happens, as we're experiencing it, you know, in terms of every day, and who knows how long this could go on for. We could be making episodes for the next, we don't, basically, we don't know. But we'll keep making episodes no matter how long this lasts. And if we're 2 years in, 3 years in, we'll still be making episodes, because basically we're reporting our lives as we live through this and go through this journey, hopefully these records, which will be stored on YouTube, will be a record for the future of humanity. You know, and that's the way I look at it.
Yeah,
This is a historical document here,
it is.
with respect. Yeah, we need to remember that. You know,
Very truthful.
we have one person watching right now. We had 3 just now. They've all gone off and run away. Okay.
Run away.
Come back.
Come back.
Please, come back.
Yeah, come back. We're not that bad. Well, no.
You never know. The computer virus may have got to them. No, I'm just being. Yeah, we are making these. Yay, 2 watching. There you go. We've inherited somebody.
Hey.
Hi,
Hello, listener.
whoever you are.
Welcome.
But yeah, we are just trying to get through this, right, guys? I mean, every day for every day.
Oh, yeah.
You're
yeah.
right.
You know.
And for those listening that are hoarding toilet paper, stop buying it. Other people need it too.
Yeah, you
Sorry,
run out.
I had to
Have us
do
run
that.
out. No, you haven't, have you?
Not yet. Almost.
Running low. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're running low on blue paper. Don't hoard it.
Well, we're on this
Gracious.
subject. We could talk about alternatives that people could be using to help. In fact, there was something quite funny that Mandy showed me on Facebook. And I don't know what to make of it, because on the one hand, someone's got creative and come up with a solution, but on the other hand, it may well have got them into trouble, because somebody took a photograph of somebody in their back garden who was using the garden hose that was, you know, those ones on the rolled up rolls that connect to the wall, to spray themselves clean.
Well, you know,
Somebody managed to get
to each their own. You know what I mean?
somebody managed to get a picture of them doing it.
Well, somebody posted a picture on Facebook. It would look like toilet paper, okay? I didn't think nothing of it. So I started reading the post. This woman knitted her own toilet paper just so she'd have it when everybody else was out.
There you go.
Yeah, that's creative.
I don't know what's wrong with the good old-fashioned sponge, you know, or something cloth you can wash every now and again. I'm losing the plot with this toilet paper business. I mean, I told my boys very early on, when about day 1 of this being announced, you know, excuse me for the pun, but if shit hits the fan, I just said, here's a cloth, you know, use this and wash it well. That was what I said to my kids, you know. I mean, it's an irony, isn't it, that people are moaning about everyone hoarding toilet roll when we're in a crisis, but nobody was worrying about people hoarding money when we weren't in a crisis.
Exactly.
They were just accepting it and putting up with it, weren't they? All right, they'd have the little moan, but they'd be putting up with it. But there was no governments coming along and saying, or shops coming along and saying, you're restricted to how much you're allowed. Oh no, if you can be a big, rich, really rich person and not give it to someone else, oh, that's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine.
It's an irony, isn't it?
It is.
You know, it is an irony. I think a lot of people in their high status have been lowered in some way. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing depends on how it's perceived. But you know, right now we're all on the same level. We're all the same level. We're all got the same needs, the same problems, and we've got to face the music that way together.
Well, yeah, same level's good, I think, because, you know, at least we're all equal, and that's what we should be, equal. All right, we're equal in a bad kind of way, but we should be equal in a good kind of way. But half, you know, 1 out of 2 is not bad, is it? We're all equal, but even if it's not in a good kind of way.
Well, there was talk that even Putin might have it this morning.
Yeah.
Because he's been speaking to some doctors who potentially have had it, you know, so, you know, anything is possible.
Exactly. We've heard nothing more from the Queen, which is interesting. I'd like to see her on telly. We've heard nothing from the Pope, although there was a report getting on now for a few weeks that he had got it. You know, so it'd be interesting to see what's happening to these people. It's funny how they go very quiet about these people. All right, Boris has got it, and it has been reported that he looks a little bit rough at the moment.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's funny because they're trying to keep them out of the limelight, I think, on the basis that it don't look good, does it? For them, where it comes to, well, the government's got it in hand. Oh no, the government hasn't got it in hand. The government's got it.
No, but I think the irony of that is the fact that, you know, it's showing that these people aren't in their bunkers and getting better treatment than the rest of us, and they're not, you know, they're not able to, you know, guide themselves as they perhaps thought they could. Like in wartime, they all run to the cabinet room and everyone else gets shot to fuck, but they don't. Excuse my language. You know. And I think it's good that that's not happening. It's good that they're on the front line with the rest of us.
Yeah, it is. It is.
You know, I mean, we're not all guinea pigs for the wealthy in the nation. Certainly, I don't see myself that way. You know, I was born here by divinity or something else, whatever, you know. Yes, through my parents, fair play, but I was born here the same as the Queen. I was born here the same as Boris Johnson. I was born here the same as Prince Charles. Unless they wish to tell me differently, I was born here the same way they were.
Yeah, of course.
You know, my mother might be different. My heritage might be different. I might have Jewish roots going all the way back to Abraham, you know, and they may not. But that doesn't mean to say that either of us are any more important than anyone.
That's right.
I'm saying.
Agree. Okay, guys. My son's like, "Mommy, come play with me. Mommy, come play with me."
Yeah, you go tend to family because that's part of it. That's part of it. Heather, you go deal with family, and
Yes.
we'll hold the fort here, and we'll see you later on. All right.
All right, I'll be back in a couple hours.
All right, that's no worries. Okay, that's fine. Very good.
That means come morning, everybody. I'm coming back. Bye.
Good to be back.
See you later. We'll see you in a bit.
Huh? Sure.
See, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
I'll be back.
We're all, in one way or another, we're all playing a part, and Heather's just gone off to be with her son and help keep her son happy. So, say again.
Be with the family in general. You know.
Yeah, be with her family. So, how big a part or small a part you play, it's all important. It's all important.
This is another reason why, you know, we can't all be, you know, we can't all be online all the time because we have families, we have lives, we have things to do just like everyone else. And so, you know, if you could, I mean, the more people get involved with this, the more this channel can be online permanently. And
yeah,
anyone who's listening, if you can, you know, contact anyone or be with anyone, you know, we can just, you know, all get in together and bring some hope, because it's about people, how they feel and how they, you know, how they want to help generally. And, you know, there's a lot of people reaching out right now. So just doing it.
It is a community thing, this channel, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It is a community thing. It is something that has been set up for all to benefit and to help one another and make one another at least, you know, feel that and see that they're not alone. especially those that are actually having to self-isolate, and especially even more those that are having to self-isolate and they're on their own. I mean, if you're listening to this and you are self-isolating, we'd love to hear what you're doing. We'd love to hear how you're coping with it. We'd love to hear your story. So, yeah, feel free to come and tell us. Have a spot on the show. You know.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm amazed, really, as to how quickly this has gone around the world, even when people have taken their measures to control it.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I mean, yesterday, last night, Heather and I were just watching a movie for the passing time. Everyone else had gone to bed, and we were just sort of up, just talking, whatever, and we shared a movie like just to chill, relax, and it was that Bad Boys movie with Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, and we're watching that, and it seemed really surreal that we were watching that, but like even the cop cars going round, or the scenes with all the people, or we just, you looked out the window, well, it wasn't like that anymore.
Yeah.
Even the normal is now,
It's no longer normal.
yeah.
I was listening to music. I think it was it was today before we went out. I listened to some music, and it was "Girls Just Want to Have Fun." The song was, and the video that went with it. She's dancing in the street, and there's people everywhere, and I'm thinking, it's not like that now. It's what we took for granted. It's nothing like it now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, our other shows in this series have sort of captured how we feel day for day. I mean, the first show, sort of, having an impact to a point where we've reacted immediately, so to speak, and the other shows are sort of us calming down or whatever, and that's the way it is. I mean, Sean's gone to lay down now because he's obviously their time 6 hours behind us, but he's gone to lay down, for the sake of just dealing with it, whatever. And Heather's going to be with her family dealing with it. So, it's pretty incredible,
It is. It is. And at the moment, that leaves us two on here talking, but hopefully we'll get some people listening. So if you are listening, tell your friends about it, share the link, and we hope to see a lot more people on here giving their views and learning what they're doing to cope with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, coronavirus is sweeping the world, and it's pretty amazing, really. The goodness that's coming out of it is pretty amazing.
Yeah. The goodness that's coming out of it. I mean, I can give you an example. My neighbour keeps asking me, do you want me to go to the shop for you? Is there anything I can do for you? And he's also, I live in a block of flats, and at the other end there's an elderly gentleman. He's been helping him out. He's cooked him a few meals, and because he can't do it all the time, he's got the person in contact with age concerned because of the other person being elderly, and they're providing like 2 hot meals a week and food parcels. And he's also got in touch with the 2 local churches, and they've said that they're going to help out. So, he's a good neighbour, and he's only been here for 3 months, and yet he's already helping people out.
Yeah, just out of interest, not out of a particular Well, just out of interest, I mean, that's the best way to say it. Is he? What is his ethnic group? Is he English or Turkish or Swedish or
He's English.
English? Again, that's
He's
not.
the gentleman who moved into Heather's old, not Heather's, I mean Holly's old
I don't
place.
know. I don't know who that is because I've not been at your place since that person moved in.
Yeah, I know you don't know him. His name is Sam.
Okay, well, good luck to Sam and you know, and I think at the end of the day that this is the point: is this is bringing out community spirit. The question is, what happens to that community spirit when this is all over? Do we put it back on the shelf and then get back to being greedy and being envious and being thought provoking and being competitive? Paying people £2 an hour and paying someone else £50 an hour. Paying doctors and people at the top of the tree, 50 grand a year, and then paying nurses, 20 grand a year. I mean, how do we measure people's worth after this is finished? And the questions that I want to make society think about. And
I agree.
I
agree, because if it isn't for the road sweeper, if it isn't for the person who washes up, if it isn't for the housekeeper of hotel rooms or cleaners, this world would be in a serious mess bigger than it already is, because as the coronavirus has proven, the smallest little bacteria can cripple the world. So
it's interesting. Your lovebirds are in the background. Notice them obviously there, which is okay. But it's not affecting the lovebirds. It's not affecting their lives. It's a human thing.
Yeah,
That itself is interesting. It's brought humanity to its knees, but it hasn't touched nature. And that's incredible.
It's like a judgment, isn't it, on what we've been doing?
Certainly feels that way. I mean, I am somewhat religious to some extent, or I believe in at least a of a kind. And I don't believe in it's someone on a throne judging everybody, because I think we're part of a greater consciousness that judges itself, and I think that consciousness is doing just that. But I think that we have brought this upon ourselves to the point of neglecting for so many centuries, and now we just we were all going to carry on. Let's be honest. Had this not have struck, we would have just carried on.
Oh yeah, it would have been no change. It's something like this that has to come along to make people think, to actually make them want to change.
Which is pretty sad, really.
Yes.
I think it really is pretty sad. So yeah, I mean, I think we're going to stay online for a little while yet. I mean, it's only early. We've been on for about 33 minutes, give or take, and we'll keep going for that length of time. In saying that, I know the YouTube is slightly behind the actual broadcast by about 45 seconds, I think, roughly. So what I've said now, I've said 45 seconds ago, but that's the way it is. Time is a funny thing. Time is a really funny thing. And, I was listening to some people on the news, and they were talking about how bored they are.
Yeah.
The question is, do we go to work because we're bored, or do we go to work to offer a service, or do we go to work for selfish gain? I mean, all three of those are relevant.
I would suggest that, yeah, it's a mixture of those three, I would suggest, but I'd like to hear what the viewers think. At the moment, I don't know how many we've got, but
we've got 2 watching at the moment, but
okay.
I don't look at it that way, because you see, this is a broadcast that's recorded, and
I was going to say that when people look back at this,
people will look back at this and start listening. Yeah, and that's part of it, really. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's the way it is. We just have to hang in there and do our best on that basis. You know.
Yes. Yes. Well, I'm sure when word gets out, given time, people will come and join us. And yeah, it takes time to build these things. But this, like I said earlier, this is open to people to come and tell us what they think. And it's, although you and Sean set this up, it's for everyone, isn't it?
Sean and I had an idea initially to create a show for the sake of full understanding. Because the world at which we were living in prior to coronavirus was a very thought-provoking world in many, many areas.
Yes.
So that was the initial idea. Of course, coronavirus is still a cultural issue and still therefore a cultural topic. I mean, how people are dealing with it, our governments are dealing with it. So it wasn't we coronavirus just came along and we went, oh, let's do a show. It wasn't like that. We were planning it before. But obviously this has taken over the level of communication, the level of subject, I suppose, the subject level.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's a worldwide cultural thing, isn't it? The virus right now.
Yeah, it is indeed. It is indeed. So, I really think that we need to, create a world where, people give a damn. I mean, there are young children who have to live with the aftermath of this, and they have to go back into their school system, and we're going to teach them history of the world. And we'll teach them the history of, I don't know, depends on what country you're in. So it could be the history of the Romans, or the history of America, or the history of the Civil War, or the history of the French Revolution, or the history of the Russian Revolution, or the history of China. It could be, depending where you are, it's going to be the history of that culture or surrounding cultures. But the principal point is that in future generations to come, COVID-19 will be part of that history.
It will, just as much as the plague is.
Yeah, it's quite. And the big question there is, well, what can be learned from life before it, life after it? And, I was saying to my son, my youngest son, who's being Jordan, as you know, Stuart.
Yeah.
Who's studying law and sociology and things in his A levels, right? And obviously this has affected his learning, and he's doing it online. And we had a call from the teacher this morning, just to sort of see if everything was okay, and how we happy with the way the setup is, and so on and so on. But the point I'm raising is that I said to Jordan before this kicked off that, before the coronavirus, I said to Jordan, sociology and history are a joint subject. They need to be looked at together. And he's pointed out to me that, well, that's not the way we look at it at school. They're not together. Well, that's a problem, isn't it? Because right now we are reliving something that our ancestors have already lived. If you want to be funny about it, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
We're surviving a catastrophe on scale that we've got 4 people watching right now. So hi to everyone who's watching. Thank you for tuning in, and we appreciate you listening to us here. I'm going to put that in.
Yes.
How do you see that, what I've just said, Stu?
Yes. Well, the thing is that there's always lessons to be learned from the past. So it is very much, excuse my love birds, it is very much a thing that we mustn't forget. And yeah, sociology and history are tied. They are linked because history tends to repeat itself in one way or another. It may not be exact, but the principles are very similar. And yeah, so I feel that they should be linked. They should be spoken as yes, in sometimes taught separately, but sometimes taught together, shown where it ties in with each other.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, exactly. You know, we learn from history as a whole, and you know that's what I'm hoping we can do with this virus. I'm hoping that positivity can come out of all the strife and the stress, of, you know, whatever. Um, I mean, Syria was in war before this kicked out, and that's just stopped. I mean, nothing else could stop the war, but coronavirus could. I mean, that's incredible.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
The fear of catching something. You know what? What a great solution to war for anyone. You're the best army in the world. Just infect yourself with something, and say, I'm just saying, you know, send them to the front line. Everyone will back off. It's not a political joke there. If you know. So, you know, realistically speaking, it's amazing how the world can change through nature.
Yeah.
You know, nature has caused this. That's just, you know, whether it's influenced by a higher force or whether it's influenced by the force or influenced by the whatever magnitude, yin yang, whatever you believe, you know, ethos or um, you know,
Whatever governs this whole existence.
whatever. Yeah, I mean, whatever you believe, even if you believe in karma, you know, whatever it is, the point is that you know this has happened, and we're all in the same boat, and we're all, you know, hoping for dry land, and I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, stopping wars and like we were discussing yesterday before we went off air, it's unless it's being masked by the coronavirus story itself. But it seems, I mean, if anyone can tell us different, do tell us. But if they can confirm what we're saying, also tell us. It seems that crime has dropped almost to nothing, which is marvellous. I mean, all these thousands of years that we've had court systems that have tried that and they've failed. And then along comes nature and says, right,
yeah, I don't know how far we, I don't know how far we should push that, but certainly there's nothing on the news about the crime rates, and there's no police cars gone into extra sort of. We need extra police officers to deal with looting, or you know, that's not happening. Certainly where I live, it's not happening. And again, if it's happening around the world, then maybe it will. But it's strange that people are pulling together with compassion more than they are showing aggression.
Yeah,
that's what it seems to be. I mean, there'll always be people that try and profiteer from this, and that's the way we are in our nature, right?
Yeah. Although I think that, you know, there's a strong possibility that if you try profiting from it, it'll come back on you. I mean,
can you move your lovebirds to another room?
Yeah, okay. I shall move them.
Some people might find it a little distressing. It's, you know, being cooped up in your house for so long, and sorry, no disrespect.
No problem. Take them in the other room for now.
So while Stuart's gone away, I just want to say hi and welcome to all the listeners that are listening, and obviously, and tell your friends that we're here. Let people know we're here. Let's have a mass discussion going on. Feel free to type in the channel online, and feel free to just interact with each other, and let's, you know, tell our stories and 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 do that. I'm sure we'll work towards a good world where we're all sharing our thoughts and emotions and whatever. So yeah,
I'm back.
welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I just filled in the gap there for a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
Save it being silence.
There's one thing people probably are not hearing that you just reminded me. In London, mind the gap. On the
Mind
tubes.
the gap is the one.
Yeah.
Mind the gap. Or in this case, mind the crap. Coronavirus. One second. Mind the.
My coronavirus.
No, actually, no. That should be changed now. Wait a minute. Keep the gap. Keep the gap. Oh,
Yeah, keep the gap.
that's now a global thing. Should go around all the metro and everywhere. Um, oh gee. We've been streaming for 45 minutes and it feels like 5.
Speak with yourself on that one, because
How long does it feel to you?
well, the thing is, before we decided to go on air, and I come on regardless, I'm already a little tired, so it feels like I've been on here for an hour.
You're always tired though. Let's just face the music. I mean, you're tired when there is no corona. You just live tired. No
Well,
disrespect.
yeah, but there are moments where I'm not.
I mean, ever since
you
I've
just-
known you for 25 years, you've been tired.
You find me when I am most of the time.
What you mean every well, almost 25 years I've known you.
Yeah, I know.
25 years you've been tired.
I wonder how many people can actually say that they've known someone and been friends with them for that kind of time and longer. If you can, let us know, because people come, people go, but you can get friendships that last as long as ours have.
Some people last for 60 years in friendship. What are you talking about? What you talking about, Stuart?
What do you mean? What am I talking about? I'm saying some friendships really last, and others, well, they fleet by. But yeah.
Keep the gap. Well, that's it. My sister just texted me that. Thank you. Yeah, well, keep the gap. Why not?
I have returned.
He's returned from heaven. How are you, by the way?
Welcome.
Don't give me that much credit, Dave.
No, all right, then I won't. How are you?
I'm all right.
We were just, obviously holding the fort together, and I was just joking. You know that line that's in, it's on our underground. I don't know if it's in America yet, but you get that mind the gap line.
Yeah.
Mind the gap. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I said yes.
Okay, so we should change that to keep the gap.
I think it works both ways. If you told, if someone got real close to you, you could just say, mind the gap. And,
you could just get some T-shirts printed, couldn't you? It says keep the gap, and on the back it says keep the gap, and on the front it says mind the gap, whichever round you want.
yeah.
Though that might be taken the wrong way, but no, forget that idea. Quick, before anybody gets any funny humour. Not what I meant, Mr. Dolby. How dare you, sir?
I'm just laughing. I say nothing.
I know how you're working.
We are live, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. We are live. Yes. How's it going where you are?
It's going all right. Actually, it's kind of ironic. I woke up from my sleep because I think it was the state of Illinois. I'm not sure right now.
You move a bit closer to your mic a sec. Sorry, bit pain. Better. That's probably better. Yeah. Try that.
Can you hear me better now?
That's better. Yeah.
That's
Say
better.
that again. Say that again. Perfect.
Okay, I got a text from some governmental body, and I think it was from the state of Illinois. Hold on a second here. That's not it. Well, darn it. What did I do with it?
We'll just wait. You know.
Anyway,
Oh.
no, it said, we are hereby requesting that all registered medical personnel come help us.
Okay. Oh, so you woke to a text, basically.
Yeah.
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 Well, that's okay. Did you have a relatively good?
It was all right.
Oh, that's good.
It's about as good as I can ask for.
So how you keeping yourself? I mean, generally, because I know before this we were discussing the show, putting it together, and blah blah blah. So, what's your
Life is as it is. I mean, I hate to pump out trite tautologies like that, but you've got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah, that's fair play. Well, obviously it's a cultural show, and we've been on air for 51 minutes. By the way, just so you know.
I was not aware.
Yeah, it's quite a while, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I was saying time flies, and yet Stuart, in retrospect, was getting the sort of relativity moment of saying, well, actually, it feels a lot longer for me because I'm tired. And I said, Stuart, well, you're always bloody tired.
Well, here's another read of that, Dave. I'm beginning to wake up. I'm starting to feel a bit more lively, yeah?
Yeah.
And now it's speeding up as if what you said was correct.
All right.
So the viewpoint seems to change based on, I think, how tired you are.
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
Why don't you just get a tea, Stu, and I'll open up the party.
Now that's a good idea and a very English idea.
Yes, one should get tea naturally. Drink. I say, Sean, why don't you get yourself a drink of tea, my dear fellow?
Because I don't like tea.
All right, then.
Because he's American and Americans like coffee.
I don't like coffee either, Stuart.
Yeah, well,
You're not a typical American then, are you?
No, I'm not.
That's no good. Wonder what Trump would have to say about that.
Oh, he'd probably tell me I was un-American for not supporting the coffee tycoons.
You're not. You know what, Sean? I'm gonna tell you right now. You're just not following the dream. You know, that's part of the dream to have coffee.
Is it?
Yeah, you know.
So am I also supposed to have deep fried eggs and a double order of back rashers for breakfast?
You know, part of the dream is having that every morning and still staying fit and healthy, you know. Yeah.
Am I also supposed to eat white toast with half a pound of butter on each
I don't know.
slice?
Why don't you ask him?
and ring donuts one after the other.
Email him, for Christ's sake.
Donuts don't actually sound bad right now.
You're not going to have a donut right now, are you? Surely.
I don't have any donuts.
I don't reckon there are any donuts left because the police cars were running around with sirens on. The virus kicked off. So
Now, Dave, let's not offend our frontline workers.
Just reward them with donuts.
Just saying.
There was actually a song in the 80s that had the line in it, all the cops in the donut place say wayo wayo.
Wow.
I can tell you a funny story about donuts in the police, actually. When I used to live in Daventry instead of 4.5 miles away from it, Tesco was 24/7. And I was talking to a friend of mine who, in the past, hasn't always been such a good boy. And we went out late at night and we were talking about, the police. And I said to him, is it true, the stories about the police and donuts, that they love donuts? And he didn't even answer me. We turned the next aisle, and as we were walking up, there was 2 police officers walking down with a bag of donuts each. We just looked at each other and laughed.
And I will tell you that when it comes to donuts in particular, I'm a big fan of Bavarian cream donuts.
You are?
Yes.
I'm just
Love
a fan
Bavarian cream.
I'm just a fan of donuts, period.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then how come you're not fat, Dave?
Because my DNA doesn't let me be fat, maybe.
Okay.
If anybody wants to come knocking for my DNA, feel free and I'll charge you the earth. I'm just saying, sorry about that. I apologize. Talking about greed and all that. No, I don't know, actually. I mean, I have a very high metabolism, and it doesn't matter how much cake I'm eating. It doesn't make much difference. And wait till you get to 40. Well, I'm 43, so I'm waiting till I get to 50. See what happens then. Then it'll hang out.
When did you become 43, Dave? I thought you and I were the same age.
All right, well, we're 42, but it's only a month away. Give us, bloody hell, it's the 31st now.
Yeah, my birthday's a month away. Well, a little over a month away, but in about a month.
Yeah, mine's about a month. So, I was planning to take my son out for his birthday this year.
Yeah.
I guess that's down the tubes.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do for his birthday. I'll think of something, but... Huh?
Oh, I'm looking at pictures of the carob tree.
Okay, what are you looking at the carob tree for?
The dried pods look like bad bananas.
Yeah. I'm glad you described them like that.
Why is that?
It's a good description.
I'm going to try carob one day. Never tried it yet.
It's like chocolate, apparently. Like Coke, apparently.
I've had carob before, and it's very obvious that there's a minute difference, but if you've only had bad chocolate, which most of the chocolate made in America is, it's hard to tell the difference.
Wow. It tastes like bad chocolate. Wow, okay.
Have you ever tried our chocolate, Sean? Cadbury?
I've had Cadbury, yes.
Yeah, and what do you think?
The chocolate itself is pretty good. See, I don't know if this is a seasonal or year-round thing for you guys, but here in America, every year around Easter, Cadbury goes on an ad campaign promoting its cream eggs, which are absolutely disgusting. And it's not because of the chocolate, it's because of the cream.
Well, I like the Cadbury cream eggs, but yes, they do every Easter.
Yeah.
There was a thing in our, it was funny talking about cream eggs. There was a thing on the news this morning made me absolutely laugh with hysterics. And that was that, I think it was in one of the newspapers, one of the scandal sheets of England. And they were saying that, I think it was a play, it must have been a play on something that they seen or they imagined. But there was like this row of police officers guarding the store saying, don't run for the cream eggs. They're not a necessity. You don't need them.
Mm.
Well, here's the ironic thing
Words
about
to that effect. Huh?
the shops here are full of chocolate and Cadbury's cream eggs and Nestle Easter eggs and Cadbury's Easter eggs, and there's no limitation on them.
No. Why are you not hoarding them, Stu? You love chocolate. Now's your chance. Go, go, go.
Because I haven't got metabolism. I haven't got your metabolism.
Oh, well, I'll have them then.
Save some for me.
Oh, no, there you go. See that? You see that mentality? You see that mentality, Sean?
Yes, I do.
It's just as well he's about 14 mile away from me, isn't it?
Yeah. Why? I said save some for me, and that would be you hoarding them if you didn't.
Yeah, I guess.
So you lose that argument.
Actually, I don't like cream eggs too well. They're a bit too. It's the yolky thing inside. It's a bit too. I mean, after you've had, you don't mind two of them, but when you've had like more than that, oh God.
They can get a bit too sickly sweet.
It does.
But the other eggs, the hollow eggs, they've got plenty of them, and save some for me.
Well, actually, there is a product that we get from Cadbury also around Easter time here in America that I love, which is the Cadbury caramel eggs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I think that has more to do with the fact that I'm a caramel freak than anything else.
Caramel freak or can't one?
Caramel.
Caramel.
To be technical, but the majority of Americans say caramel.
Tomato.
Yeah, it's a tomato thing.
Just like the majority of Americans say sherbet.
We say sherbet.
We say sherbet, don't we? What?
Yeah.
There's only one R in there.
Sherbet.
Sherbet.
Yeah, we
Sherbet. Sherbet.
Yeah, we say sherbet.
Sherbet. Oh, what's it matter? That's too technical for me, that. I can't.
Oh, so you're gonna criticize me about the whole caramel thing, but you're not gonna bend on the sherbet thing.
I'm still trying to get my head around the letter H, and the aristocratic buffoons, and dare I call them that, but I do. The aristocratic buffoons at the top of the tree call it H with no H sound, which means that they live in a house and they live at home and they don't have a H, and yet they're trying to teach phonics.
Well, here in America, we pronounce it H as well without the H at the beginning of it.
So you're just as crazy too, aren't you?
Yeah, but you guys say Z. It's not like you would go to the zoo.
You go to the zoo.
Exactly.
You don't go to the Z, do you?
You don't go to the zoo.
Zzz, it's a Z sound. Zzz.
Yeah, we say Z.
Well, where's Z? I want to start World War III with him now. I'm declaring war against Sean.
Wouldn't be the first time, Dave.
Oh, okay. Well, not from my perspective. Well, we've lost listeners now. You've
Well,
frightened them all
can
off.
I put the coronavirus in and that'll bring peace between the two of you? It's working.
You've frightened all the listeners off now.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, I mean there was 4. Now there's 1.
That would be you.
No, blame me not.
But you know what?
What?
I can change that.
You can.
Yeah, I can.
You have a magic wand
Yeah, it's called my computer.
or a magic wind. Didn't know you want to pronounce it.
Magic wind. Is that what you get when you eat magical beans?
Or magical mushrooms. Yeah.
I've never had magic mushrooms.
Have you not?
No, I haven't.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Are they now?
Actually, I say I've never been high. That's not true. Magic mushrooms, yeah, my God, dangerous, but wow. Yeah. Not good. Not good.
Where'd it go?
So while we just contemplate the silence for 2.3 seconds.
Oh, no, I was just trying to find... there we go.
Everyone's
Now
run
we
away
should
now.
have 2 watching.
Have we got 2 watching? Well, I see one. I'm going to reset my thingy because it's lying to me again, which is obvious. Yeah. Anyway, the good thing is it's being recorded, so we've had quite a few watchers on the recordings, haven't we?
I'd like to say that.
I think we have. If you look at how many have watched previous ones, you'll see there's quite a few.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know how many it is exactly, but you can see that there's a few. Just saying.
I think I will have a fig bar.
So our category is entertainment, just letting you know.
Yeah.
And you're not being very entertaining right now, so...
Oh, I'm sorry. Would anybody else like a fig bar then?
That's not entertaining either.
Well, how is it not entertaining if I'm entertaining I'm entertaining our guests with food?
No, that's not the entertaining I meant. I mean, pull a funny face or something.
I could start telling jokes. Do you want me to do that, Dave?
Yeah, tell a couple of jokes and keep them, relatively, yeah.
Dirty joke. Boy fell in a mud puddle. Clean joke. Boy took a bath with Bubbles. Dirty joke. Bubbles is the neighbor girl. You like that one, Dave?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. So he took he took a bath with Bubbles, and Bubbles is the neighbor's. All right. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the thing is, that's probably the least offensive joke I know.
I'm back.
He's back.
Welcome back, Stuart.
I had to go and answer the door.
God.
James was knocking the door.
All right. How do you know?
He asked me if there'd been any parcels. He's still working, but how he's doing it is his customers, because he's got his own business, his customers are phoning up, telling him what they want doing. And as he's already got a customer base that he regularly does, he just goes there and gets on with it, and they're not there, That's how he's dealing with
He's a
it.
landscape gardener, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
I've told him what we're doing here, and I've said to him I'll give him the link sometime, and he said that'd be good. He'd like
Why don't you
to.
post him the link then?
Yes, I will. I shall send him the link.
Hang on a minute.
Send it to my phone so I can send it to his.
Give me a second.
I would also.
What?
I'd also like to point out to anybody who is going to watch that they can check out all of our previous videos by clicking universal communication in the description of our videos, and click on playlist or on videos when you get there.
Yeah.
And it will show you a complete compilation of everything that we've put together.
Right, one sec. I'm just going to do this for this. Where the hell are we? Are we in? I don't know which one we're in. Are we in this one? Okay, I'm just posting something. Give me a second here.
Okay. Well, I would like to make a comment. Thank you to the 28 viewers that we had on our second video, which occurred at about 6 p.m. yesterday.
There you go. You see, I told you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Told you, yeah. Please come back today at 6 p.m., even if I'm talking in the past. Wow.
Exactly.
How's that? A call to the future from the past. So when you hear this, realize I called it in the past, and you, well, that's just complicated. That's not good. All right.
Who says time travel don't exist?
Well, exactly.
Ooh.
If you are listening to us right now, go ahead and subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon. That way you'll get notifications every time we start publishing a new live stream.
That works, yeah. I'm going to see if I can post Stuart the link so he can post it to where he wants to post it to. If I can get the phone to work, we'll all be good.
I can just forward it by text, can't I?
Hang on.
Okay.
There you go.
We started streaming 69 minutes ago.
I know. And it feels like an age, doesn't it? Hold on a sec.
Well, I've only been on the phone for 15 minutes with you guys.
Okay.
Well, not phone, but
what are you saying? It feels like an age.
no, I was being naughty.
Okay. All right.
Shame on Sean.
Shame on Sean. We've got 3 listeners now, 3 watching.
Yes, we do. And it's probably the 3 of us.
No, I'm not watching it at the moment.
It could be Heather scandalously watching from somewhere else.
Or it's possible that it's Nick.
Or Nick, yeah. Hi Nick, if you're watching, hi Nick. Yeah. I think we really can make a difference if we just hang in there and broadcast as often as we can, and just tell it how it is,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Give me
kind of like what? Sorry.
I'm just figuring out how to forward it to James.
Just copy it. Hold your thumb on it, and it goes to copy. Go to James's, like as if you're going to send text, and then you hold your thumb down in the chat box, and it pastes it in. Asks you to paste it.
Okay.
Works on my phone. Anyway.
Well, I see copy. Actually, I think I saw a forward there. Wait a minute. No, I've got that already. No. No, absolutely. No, no.
Okay, Nicholas, I think, is asking us if he can join in live. As long as your mum's good with that, I'm good with that. So,
That's fine with me too.
Yeah, fine with me as well.
it's not a good echo. What echo? We've got an echo. Have we got an echo?
I'm hearing an echo.
I'm not hearing an echo.
No.
Of course, I have YouTube muted so
Okay,
that I don't
I
hear
need to check this shit.
feedback.
Hang loose.
I saw a forward there. Wait a minute. No, that's already.
Yeah, there's an echo.
No.
Hang on one sec. That's what we did yesterday. Stop the echo. Mute the Discord.
It's all right. Doesn't bother me none. Gentlemen, I will be right back with you in a second. I need to cleanse my apartment.
Okay.
Be back in a second or two.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna try something, which is not. Let's see. I wish you'd told me this like half an hour, 60 minutes ago. Jesus. Ignorance is bliss to some people.
Gentlemen, I will be right back with you in a second. I need
Okay,
to
Sean is not echoing.
Okay. And I'm not being echoing, am I?
And I'm not echoing. All right, I'm going to try something. It's only you who's echoing, Stu, and that's probably because you've got your sound turned up on your hi-fi and everything's going on in the loop.
Am I echoing now? Because I have just pulled my speakers out and I'm purely on my laptop ones.
I won't know till I hear it.
Right.
Ignorance
Okay.
is bliss to some
I'll just
people.
keep talking until.
Gentlemen, I will be right
back.
Stop talking. Okay, Sean is not echoing.
Okay. And
I'm not echoing.
Okay, I thought I'd pop on, let you guys know the echo is gone, and you guys are doing awesome.
Okay, thank you, Heather. That's fantastic. We need to know. Are you okay with your son popping on his text, mate? In case you don't know, you do know.
That's fine, but you're gonna have to check, request to be his friend and all that. But that's fine with me. I trust you guys.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Heather.
Welcome. Bye.
No worries. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, cool. Let's see if we add to the call. Right. So what do I do? Do I add how do I add into the call? Question mark.
Sean is back.
Sean is back. Welcome back, Sean.
I came back from the dead just to tell you it's all gonna be okay.
It is.
In 2 weeks, we'll all be back to work. We've got to be strong in this time of crisis and support the American economy. Otherwise, I look like a bad president and lose the next election.
Yeah. Yes, and yes, by the way, Stuart, that's what you need to do. You need to make sure that you're not on your speakers and that you're only on your laptop.
Okay. Right. Okay.
And if you can't hear, you'll have to get yourself a set of hearing aids and a megaphone. And work. All right.
I would also like to point out on that last comment that I make is that I honestly don't think Trump would be paying any heed to the American people's needs if his election didn't depend upon it.
I think you're right, you know.
You know, it's not as if the government is deducting this $2.2 trillion tax relief from his coffers. You know, of course, he's not going to see any benefit from it because he's over the salary cap for the stimulus package.
I'm gonna add Nick to the group call, by the way. Just keep going.
Okay, well, you know what? He is. Tell him to jump on Discord and I'll move him into the stream chat channel.
It might go with funny echoes again. Let's just do it this way.
Okay.
Just hang on. Okay. I'm going to try to do it this way. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3. How do we do this?
Trump, I think, Sean. Well,
Yeah.
I think Trump, if it didn't depend on an election, he would still be the way he is, because think about it, he's got big business all over America and the world, from
All
what
around the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the bottom line dollar to him, I think, counts.
Sean,
So
you're now
you
echoing.
wouldn't want to lose that.
I'm echoing?
Yeah, have you got Discord switched on?
Yeah, but my mic is muted in it. I don't hear any echo on my end. And I'm not hearing Stuart echo or you echo.
If it didn't depend on an election, he would still be the way he is, because think about it, business.
Dave,
Yeah, I'm just contemplating what's going on here. One second.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you have your YouTube window muted?
Yeah.
Huh, that's not it.
Judging by yesterday, I turned that volume down on the speaker. I mean, I'm not on my headphones, you see, I'm on, right, so if I switch over to my headphones. Jesus.
We'll give you a moment to do that.
Wish they'd
You're a good man.
tell me 10 minutes in instead of an hour in. Anyway. Can't get the bloody stuff, can you?
No more than an hour in. Well, at least you two are.
Okay, it's not coming up.
Can't get the stuff. They're all at home.
Hang a minute, Nick. We'll answer the call in a second when I get my life sorted out.
Oh, that joke didn't go down.
What did you say, Stewie?
I said that you can't get the stuff because they're all at home. They're worried about the coronavirus.
All right. Why is my laptop not playing ball? I hate modern technology when it doesn't fucking work. Why create a fucking laptop with one hole? Stupid people. I've got it working.
Any echo?
Yeah, I'm on my headphones, so I don't know if there's echo now. I wouldn't know.
No, I can't hear it.
Okay. I'm going to try and add Nicholas to the call. Let's see if
It says he already is in the call.
Okay, so he's watching it. I'm muted. Yo.
Hello.
There you go.
Hello, Nick.
You're alive. How are you doing?
So, Nick,
Yes.
tell us the perspective of a young person today. We're just as interested in hearing the opinions of the youth as we are to adults who are a little more downtrodden in society.
Yep. Here.
I mean, kids would love to go outside,
Right.
but the kids that have to go outside to like get out their energy, they can't. So they're stuck inside. It's like a ultra big problem with the kids.
Yeah.
Right. What do you suggest? We should have indoor theme parks. I'm just.
That's not a bad idea.
Oh, shut up.
I could convert my apartment into a Six Flags. Granted, it would only fit about half of a ride, but yeah, it would be one of those sort of roller coasters that you see when you go to the county fair.
Hang on a minute, Nick. You haven't got a spare gun right now. You do.
No, I don't.
Oh, God. I don't mean it, Sean. Honestly, I don't.
No, I know, Dave. I take no offense. I'm just trying to entertain people.
You're doing a good job, believe me.
He's doing his job, that's for sure.
Exactly. So yeah, welcome, Nick. Thanks for joining us and being on the show. It's great to have you.
Just want to quickly say something to Sean before we move away. You take no fence or gate or hedge.
Oh, Stuart.
You definitely need that gun now, don't you?
Well, remember, you guys can only have guns for hunting purposes.
You see what I've got to put up with, Nick?
Oof. Wow.
When I was 13 years old, my father bought me a 20-gauge shotgun for Christmas.
Okay.
What'd you do with it?
Went hunting.
Okay.
But I am terribly uncoordinated.
Okay.
And I think in my entire life I managed to kill only one small bird.
I am.
Well, that's a great Christmas message, isn't it? Love and peace to all. Here's a
pretty
shot.
good.
Yeah, go on, Nick. Go on, Nick.
I said, I mean, it's pretty good. At least you killed something.
There you go.
But you
And not a human.
Not a human.
Yeah, I'll leave that up to the state governments to have on their hands.
Now you reminded me of that James Bond film. I think it's Moonraker, where Roger Moore is visiting the villain, and the villain does clay pigeon shooting, and he puts him up in the air, and Bond sees this chap in the tree, and he swings the gun round and he shoots the chap in the tree and misses the clay pigeons, and the villain says, "You missed, Mr. Bond." And as the bloke falls out the tree, the henchman who's going to shoot him, obviously, he says, "Did I?"
Maybe this should be our topic of discussion for the day. We have spent an awful long amount of time talking about coronavirus, and I don't want to go around beating a dead horse. You know, well...
What, you shoot it first?
No,
Very funny.
I don't know if that is a British idiom as well. Flogging a dead horse, perhaps?
Yeah, it is.
It means to keep going over the same ground over and over again.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to minimize the latest impact that coronavirus has had on humanity as a whole. But I also, at the same time, want to break away from the seriousness and hostility that so many people, at least in my country, feel due to what's going on.
So
You know.
What do you suggest? That we all just make jokes, have a party, and forget about it, or what?
No, I'm not saying that none of our content should be dedicated to it, but I think it's okay to talk about more than one topic at a time.
Well, you've been talking about more than enough stuff for the past 10 minutes, and we're just listening, so it's all good with me.
Dave,
Yeah.
bugger off.
No.
Okay, bugger on.
No.
The subject of guns, though, is pretty serious as well.
Well, the thing is, and I was talking to my father, who is a staunch right-wing conservative, the other day. And even though he thinks that all of the news and negative commentary from the liberals in the US is just an attempt to defame Trump, we did both agree that if this continues much longer, it could be the spark of another American Civil War.
That's true. That's true. Especially as all the stores seem to have sold out of guns in America, from what I understand.
I don't know. I think it's a lot of hype. I mean, Nick, you live in a society like that, you know, as a young man, and obviously you're not naive. You hear on the news stuff that goes on with guns, and I know that. What's your take on that sort of thing in society? Come on, you're a young man. Give us your view.
Yeah.
Well, I really don't know.
Well, it's an honest view.
I will say one thing,
Hang on,
Dave.
I'm not asking you, am I? Hang on a minute. Calm down a minute. No, because we need to hear Nick's voice. You know, I mean, we're adults, we have an opinion, but I'd like to encourage Nick to sort of, you know, open up a bit and just say what he feels, because the youth are our future, and if we can't,
Yes, they are.
If we can get something right, at least it's listening to our youth of the future. So, Nick, you can be the representative of your generation right now. Wow.
Nick,
Well, thank you.
do you honestly not have an opinion, or do you just not know enough of the basics to make any sort of
I honestly
comment?
just don't have an opinion.
Okay.
See, he does a better job than you, Sean, because you have an opinion about everything.
Well, I'm also almost 30 years older than him.
All right.
Yeah, that's time to think about these things.
Time to think about it. Okay.
Yeah, he's got a lot of confusion in his life right now. Puberty is a bitch.
Well, possibly. But anyway, it's all good.
Oh, can I go ahead and say what I was going to say now, Dave?
Yeah, go on. Say what you're going to say. Permission.
Okay. I look at guns this way. I'm going to make an analogy.
Okay.
If you use a hammer to put nails through drywall and build a house with it, it's a useful tool.
Right.
If you beat someone in the head with it and crush their skull, it's a tool of death.
Right.
You know, there are positive and negative ways that any human invention can be put into use.
Yeah, of course.
There are people that live in economically low status in very rural areas of America, where it's not uncommon for them to go out with their rifle or shotgun and shoot at rabbits and squirrels and small birds just to get sustenance for their family.
You mean food?
Yeah.
I mean, if that's what you're really saying, you're actually telling me that the United States is very backward. I mean, we haven't done that in this country for food for about 200 years. So I can, if you're actually telling me realistically, then the United States is backward by 200 years. I'm out with that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fine, Dave. You can voice your opinion. I am not what I would refer to as a gun nut.
Yeah.
But
I'm just shocked.
if well, technically, I don't even know if my state would allow me to own a gun, because at one point in time I was institutionalized in a state psychiatric hospital.
I wouldn't let you have a gun for sure. I'm just saying.
It wouldn't matter to me because I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
Okay.
If you're interested, I have a view.
He has a view.
Go for it.
Yeah, my view is that like you said, a gun is a tool in the right hands that can be used for bringing in food if there is a need for it. In our country, there's certainly no need for it because the supermarkets are already providing enough food. They throw enough away as it is. So, you know, it's a tool that isn't needed at the moment, unless that changes big time. Equally, a gun itself is neither dangerous or the opposite. It is just a tool. It's the person who's using it,
Yeah.
how they use it, whether or not it's dangerous.
Yeah.
But
Preach on, Stuart.
the very fact
Huh?
that guns are available and around, which they're not in this country, but where they are, that gives opportunity to
Alright.
those who
Alright.
would use it wrongly.
All right, hang on. Our young friend, Nick.
Go on, Nick. Sorry.
Nick, you have a desire to go into the Marine Corps, right?
Yes.
And you understand that in the Marine Corps they obviously use guns for self-defense, protection, protecting a nation, so on and so on, right?
Correct.
Part of the protocol of who we are. So obviously you've got an idea of that and a perception of that. But you also know that police officers in your country carry guns around with them. Again, I guess for protection and so on, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So in your country, you see, you have the law or the statute from the Constitution that states, you have the right to bear arms, which of course goes back to the days of the Civil War and the war before that, breaking free from merry old England. So I'm just wondering, kind of, how you perceive people having guns in society. Because as a young man, as I say, you must know what's on the news. I know you don't have an opinion, and I respect that. But I would like to sort of know how you feel about, people having guns as opposed to the Marine Corps, who might be a bit more experienced with those sort of things. I'm just wondering, generally. I know you're a young man, but
I mean, people in the Marine Corps, they know how to use their weapons, but people aren't like the railroad right now. They rather choose to kill people than help people.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you see, so even from a simple perspective, Sean, Stuart, what I'm saying,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to illustrate there is even from a simple perspective of observing it just really as it is, the right to bear arms suggests that one is not happy with their society in the first place. You don't need to bear arms against a society that you're happy with.
No, you don't.
You only need to
Well,
bear arms against something you're not happy with.
Dave,
Yeah.
let me put it to you in a very historical context.
Yeah.
At the time of the American Revolutionary War,
Yeah.
the colonists living in America were very upset with the culture that was dictating their norms.
If you want to hold that still before you carry on the argument, I interject a lot, but there is a reason. Because if you're going to carry on down that road, you need to think about the system that you're facing right now, with every state governor being almost in a colony to the United States president. But do carry on.
Well, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. That's why I mentioned that this could possibly spark a new American Civil War.
Well, I hope not,
but
yeah.
I hope not either, because panic is bad enough right now.
Yeah.
And I also think that the Civil War that could ensue would not pit state against state, but it could go so far as to pit neighbor against neighbor.
All right, so obviously we're trying to promote hope here, rather than any form of fear. But yeah, I mean the issue is fair, because obviously in view of that hope, I mean right now, as I said earlier, we seem to be in a society globally where, and a social sort of dilemma or a social paradox where people are not doing crime in the same way. I know whether that's just my eyes or my perception, but certainly the news isn't covering it. Yes, yes.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
hi, welcome back,
Oh,
Heather.
How are you?
So I'm fine. I've been sneakishly listening. I just wish
Yay!
you guys
As
probably
mum
know
should
by
do. As
now.
mum should do.
yeah.
So I actually have something to say
Yeah.
to Sean
Go ahead.
in particular, because I do not believe that a civil war is going to break out, and I do not believe that neighbor is going to be pitted against neighbor, only because if you look around, people are helping each other. People are stepping up
That's
when they
true.
don't need to step up. They're doing that. I don't think that in the end of this, people are going to go, "Ooh, get you now. You're nasty. Get away from me," even though they just helped that person. I don't see that happening.
Correct.
I see everybody coming together as a whole.
Yeah.
And I would like the whole world to come together as a whole.
Yeah. Exactly.
I have one thing to say in response to that. Mind the gap.
What does that mean?
Dave, the t-shirt comment that you were making earlier.
Yeah, but why is that relevant to this conversation?
Oh, well, Dave was talking about how in Britain on the metro, there's a sign as you're about to step from the platform onto the train that says "Mind the gap," and obviously it's because there's about a 1 foot space between the platform
Yeah.
and the train.
Yeah.
But in these times where we're told that it's almost necessary to space ourselves socially, to practice social distancing,
Yeah.
we need to mind the gap between people.
Yeah. Which is what I was saying earlier. But where does that
I
relate to?
understand.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay. I don't mean literally. I don't mean like they're going over to their neighbor's house and saying, "Here, here, here." I mean, look at the food banks. Some of these food banks are still open. They have a 6-foot gap. You're not allowed to get out of your car to get them, but at least they're still trying to help. And they don't care about your income at this moment. They don't care how much you make, because right now it doesn't really matter how much you make because we're all on the same level.
Yeah.
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 I mean, there's people out here going over and beyond what they need to do just to make sure that people are being taken care of. We were watching a press conference. Here's an example. We were watching a press conference about our governor here in Illinois. He mentioned this one woman who has decided that she's going to go out and make protective gear. They're sewed together, but they have the protective stuff inside so that they can be handed out so that these people are still getting the gear they need, even though the PCP that they need, even though
Heather.
our government is not providing for them.
Heather.
Huh.
PPE.
Whatever.
PCP is an illicit
Oh,
narcotic.
All right. You get the point. You.
Yeah, I'm just being pedantic.
Yeah, I know you are.
But what I'm saying is people are stepping up.
Yes.
They're not stepping away. They're not hiding. They're stepping up.
Yes.
Heather's right. You're right, Heather.
I mean,
They are.
I mean, look, we could all talk about cherry pies and cream if you feel better about it, but the truth of the matter is that doesn't give people hope.
No. But a slice of cherry pie does sound good.
No, it doesn't. It's gross.
Oh, shush you.
Cherry pie.
No.
What's the matter with cherry? No, you be quiet. What's the matter with cherry pie?
I don't like cherries.
See, there you go. She don't
I'll eat.
Yeah, neither do
I'll
I. I don't
eat
like
a-
cherries.
Yeah.
I'll eat a real cherry as long as it's got a pit in it. But if it comes out of a can or it doesn't have a pit and it's not fresh, I'm not eating it.
There you go.
Well, what
I
if
don't like them at all.
Yeah.
Heather,
Huh?
what if someone went out and bought fresh cherries and made pie filling out of them? Would you eat that?
Has it been cooked?
Yes.
then it's been altered. No.
Okay.
Ah. Okay. Yeah. See,
Do you like peach pie?
Now, I'm the opposite. I don't like it if it's fresh, but I do like cherry pie if it's been cooked.
I prefer my fruit fresh, just saying.
You know what my problem with fresh cherries is? Is that I can never finish a bag of them before they go bad.
I'm just, you know, I can eat cherries whether they're cooked or not, so it didn't bother me in the least. I think maybe it was the way I was brought up, you know. My family was, well, that's what you eat and that's what you get, and you eat it or you starve to death. And that was my family, so maybe that's perhaps just the way it is like.
Yeah.
Speaking of cherries.
I mean, you eat when you're hungry. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah. I agree.
Speaking of cherries,
yeah.
I don't know if there's anybody else out there who likes cherry cordials, what are otherwise known as chocolate-covered cherries, but I bought a box of them.
Yes, please.
I bought a box of them for my daughter for Christmas from MrsCavanaughs.com, and she said they were the best chocolate-covered cherries she's ever had.
Are you doing a promotional advert right now?
No,
It sounds like it.
Done it.
I'm just giving a shout out.
For what?
I wouldn't mind them.
You wouldn't mind?
I know you wouldn't, Nick. Hush.
I like chocolate. I
Yeah,
like chocolate.
I like chocolate. I'm a chocoholic. But I told
Well-
Stuart earlier on I want to nickel the Cadbury's cream eggs, but Stuart won't let me do it.
No, I won't.
He likes the cream eggs more than you do then, Dave. Because he went out and bought all of them at Tesco's.
I love chocolate. The only chocolate I don't like is if it's chocolate that. This is strange. I love nuts. I love chocolate. But you put the nuts in the chocolate, it does something to the taste of the chocolate, and I don't like it then. But apart from that, I love chocolate.
Do you like Nutella?
To it.
No, he doesn't like
No.
Nutella.
Oh, I like Nutella.
Oh, I love Nutella. I just can't eat it very often.
Stuart,
I mean, let's be real. Who does not like chocolate?
Stuart,
Me?
he's a damn weirdo, isn't he?
You're a liar.
Wait a minute, Heather. Just wait a minute. Stuart's a damn weirdo, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. But we already knew that.
Yeah.
I think we're all a little bit weird. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sitting here talking to each other and carrying on in such fashion.
You think so? I think you might
Yeah.
be right.
Yeah.
Well, what is weird?
Not normal.
That's a good question.
It's not normal.
What is not normal?
What is
Coronavirus.
Don't know
Stay at
them.
home.
better question? What is normal?
What is normal?
Shall I,
Exactly.
I shall give you the definition of normal, actually.
Go on, Stuart.
The definition of normal is what the majority of people do most of the time.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's normal to sleep. That's about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sleep and eat. Sleep and eat. That's the only two normal things. Okay, gotcha.
yeah.
Everything else that you and I are just not normal. You have to accept that, all right?
That's a
Right?
dictionary definition, by the way.
Oh, man.
Have you got the Oxford Dictionary out now, Stuart?
No, I have not, but I have in the past questioned this and with friends checked it up.
You hear about the two dyslexics in the kitchen?
No.
One of them says, "Can you smell food?" And the other one says, "I can't even smell my own name."
Oh, that's awful, Dave.
Sorry, Stuart.
That's just as bad as a Stewart joke.
Really?
I think so.
Well, I thought it was.
Kind of rude.
I take them back. I was so
Thank you, Nick.
What did Nick say?
What?
Nick said that's kind of rude.
Is that kind of rude?
Thank you, Nick.
That's kind of rude?
No, what Sean said. That's a Stewart joke.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of rude.
Hey, I want to ask our possible listeners.
Yeah, all two of them.
Yeah, all two of them. Anybody who has watched one of our live streams or is currently watching this one, feel free to post a comment to either our chat window or to the regular comments section if it's one of our older videos. If you would like to see one or more of us do a show of our own, let us know. I'd be willing to accommodate that role.
I'm sure you
Just
would.
have... Oh, shut up, Dave.
That can be easily arranged.
It most certainly can.
Just saying. My lips are sealed. Burst that way.
By the way, I would like to thank Dave very much for the graphics that our listeners are now seeing.
Is that flattery or get you nowhere, son?
I'm not trying to flatter you, Dave, because I don't pander to weirdos.
Okay.
So does that mean you don't pander to yourself?
Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
Heather, I was going to be kinder than that and not say it, but I was thinking it.
Sorry.
Don't
It
put-
You know
slipped.
you know
My
what?
bad.
Sean, don't
You
you
know
put
what-
nothing on me, mate. Well, go on, yeah.
Why don't both of you just go take a long walk off a short dock?
Because that
Only
was
if you
really good.
follow.
I think, Heather, that you just want to be with me all the time.
You know what, Sean? I think pick up that cross and follow you comes to mind. Pick up your cross and follow me comes to mind.
Yeah. Demonstrate how it's done, John.
You're digging yourself a hole, bro.
I'm
Okay,
not
no.
sure I get how to do that, so I need some instruction. Demonstrate.
All right.
No.
Hey, Mom, are you still having an echo on your part?
No, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Okay.
Stuart, you can't
Yeah,
read
I don't got
Stuart,
one.
you can't read the instructions, so that's pointless. Just saying.
No, that's why he said
I
he
need
needs
a
a demonstration.
A demonstration. Yeah. Okay.
Well, Dave, why don't you go and show them how it's done?
Why? You're the one that suggested it. Why don't you?
'Cause I'm not near any bodies of water.
Well, neither
Well,
am I.
neither are we.
Wait a minute.
We're right in the middle of
No,
land.
no.
I'm a body of water.
Yeah, but hang on a minute. Hang on. I'm in official lockdown. I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, and we've got a long drive to any coast, haven't we, Dave?
Exactly.
Dave, why don't you go back to China?
Well, I never came from China.
Are you sure?
Wow. Just wow.
He has not got "Made in China" stamped on him.
I might have them on the bottom of my shoes, though. Let me just check. Oh my god. Okay, it's time to end this one.
Yeah.
Nick, help.
Moving on. Next
Huh?
topic.
Because we don't need to peeve off the Chinese government.
We don't need to peeve off anybody.
Nope.
No.
And seeing Dave, I'm doing my best to keep my tongue in check.
You're
That's why I said
you're not doing a
peeve.
very good job back there. I'm just saying.
How dare you?
Just a heads up.
I didn't know you were playing chess with your tongue.
Yeah, you're keeping your tongue in check. So which piece is that keeping it in check? It's playing chess.
Yeah,
That's very bad.
yeah. Well, tell me, mate, which piece is it in check?
I could tell you, but then again, that would probably get me banned from this channel.
I'm talking about your tongue.
So am I.
Oh, right, okay.
Anyway, changing the topic totally here.
Yay!
Yeah, on.
Rescue me.
See you.
At 2:30, well, actually 2:15, I will be not on here. I will be watching the Illinois press conference.
Yay! Keep me
Okay.
posted.
I will do that.
But I will be.
But you'll be Nick. You'll be here with us. You'll be rescuing us and bailing us out from the ever.
I'll
sort of,
try.
Mayhem.
mayhem that Sean brings to the channels.
How dare you?
Okay.
It's all Sean's fault. Blame Sean. Yep.
Yeah,
Blame
stick on Sean Day. Blame Sean.
Blame Sean. Blame Sean. He's not even a real person anyway.
Oh Lord.
Oh, I didn't realise you were a bot.
Yep.
I knew they were gonna take over. Quick, somebody pull his plug.
Wait, what plug though?
I'm in a madhouse right now. That's all I'm going to tell you. This is only 3 days in. I mean, a week and 3 days. Well, maybe slightly over that. But anyway, if it gets any more, God knows what I'm going to do.
Well, you know what, Dave? I think that this is going to last a lot longer than what any government in the world wants its people to believe.
You know, I can't. What? Oh, what are you saying? It's going to last longer than 3 weeks? Oh no, it's. I can't get his accent's completely wrong now. Forget it. Okay.
I've
You were
got a good
crossing
feeling
Southern
about this
and
drug.
Trump.
What?
See, now look what you done. You made Trump lose his accent.
Is that Trump with the force? I have a good feeling about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a
Yeah.
good feeling about
No,
this.
that was his commentary on the drug that he suggested people take for
Was it?
COVID-19, the
Oh,
anti-malaria drug.
Oh God.
I mean, we'd
he's
be
got a new
we'd be
one.
fine. Like just gave it to us before. Like right now, they gave it to us. People that don't already have it.
What's that, Nick?
We'd be fine if they already gave it to us.
Yeah. Well, you could test the theory, I suppose. Get it out, get it over and done with.
As Trump's trying to promote a drug, does that mean he's a drug pusher?
Does that mean he's a drug addict?
I think he should test it on the people of his own Congress and see what happens there. I mean, he can monitor them a lot closer than the rest of us, can't he?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, I think that he should be part of the test trial.
There you go. Okay. All right, stop.
What? Give him the coronavirus and see if they can
All
heal
right.
him.
All right. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I think we need to change the topic. You see what I have to put up with, folks? This is a tough show. Anyone
Hey,
wants to
I
take
didn't
over?
say anything.
Anyone wants to take over my job? Good God.
Well, it's only fair that he should do his part on the front line.
Yep.
Show us what a brilliant, fearless leader he is. Here's the coronavirus. Here's what we think is the cure. Did it
We are
work?
supposed to be bringing hope to the world. This is hardly bringing hope to the world, is it?
I'm bringing laughter at the moment.
Oh, that'll do.
You're jesting.
I would like to see another political leader, the likes of Franklin Delano Roosevelt or Sir Winston Churchill at this point in time.
Well, we've certainly got
Because
Churchill
they're
in
actually-
our country.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Boris is close to Churchill, believe me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
and
saying.
Boris has got it, as you know.
Boris has got mild symptoms, yeah, bless him.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to thank everybody once again who will tune in to any one of these podcasts of ours and is prepared to listen to the mayhem and the laughter and the fun and the whatever else we're expressing. And thank you to everyone joining me up here, which is Sean and Stuart and Heather and Nick, and we're trying to just bring a bit of life in the world that's a little like a movie. And I guess that's it, really. Trying to work it out without a script is not easy. Start writing one, Heather, please.
Seriously,
Yeah,
right?
Totally. Will people stick to the script?
People think so we just want to thank all the frontline workers again. Right now, I know that Sean likes to go off the subject, but we do live in a world where people should not be forgotten, and especially at this time Well, they're doing a fantastic job. So there you go.
They are, and don't forget truck drivers and daycare workers and the store peoples, because without them, we'd starve. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know what? Take the opportunity to thank your trash haulers.
Yeah.
If they all stayed at home right now, our streets would be filthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you'd have plague
Our
on top of
homes
plague.
would. Yes, we would.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'd also like to say to those that have got loved ones and those that are suffering it, you know, we're with you on this because it's not a nice thing to suffer. May you get better soon if you're ill, and may people who have got loved ones have good news that their loved ones have got better, you know, because it's not a nice thing to have to suffer. Um, so I'm giving a shout out to the victims as well as the frontliners here.
Cool.
You know,
Thank you, Stewie.
And I pray that the faithful among you,
Including Sean.
yeah, thank you, Dave.
No worries.
I pray that if you are sick, you will recover from it.
Amen.
yeah,
I pray that everybody, no matter if you have faith or not, recovers from it. Just saying.
yeah,
What are you praying?
yeah.
Sorry.
And that we all after this realise that, you know, people are valuable and we've got to look after one another, and not make it so much about money and more about people.
I'm just going to put something out there in terms of kind of like John Lennon with his Imagine right now. To all the would-be atheists and people who don't have any kind of faith, but that in themselves and that in humanity, I just want to say that imagine there's no heaven. What are you going to do about it? You know, there's a problem. Imagine there's no war, no society. You know, the groups and the things that we have. What are you going to do about it? It's time that people start listening to Imagine. And imagine there's nothing else. What are we going to do about it? Because right now you can imagine all you like, but you have to face the reality that we are. And therefore, what are we going to do about it?
Exactly. Exactly.
How's that, Nick?
You-
That sound good? I'll blow Nick
Nick?
away. Look, Nick's collapsed with amazement. Nick,
He might be downstairs getting something to eat.
okay, bless him.
Okay.
That's good.
Ah,
Oh my
Em-
bad. What?
He's back.
were you getting something to eat, Nicholas?
No, I was just talking to my brother-in-law.
Okay. No,
Okay.
I just wondering what you felt about all that. You know, what I said, what was said, whatever.
Can you say it one more time, please?
Huh?
Can you say it one more time, please?
Say it all again one more time.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, Nick. No pressure, huh? All right. I was just saying that, you know, I was sort of summarising what everyone else.
Everyone else was saying.
Very good. I was just summarising. He was listening. See, there you go. I was just summarising what everyone else was saying, you know, in terms of how we perceive and people with faith and people without faith and people blah, blah, blah. And, you know, it's a bit like that. There's a John Lennon song. I'm going to bring up the lyrics because I just want to quote a few things from it, actually. But there's a John Lennon song called Imagine. Have you ever heard that song?
No, I haven't.
All right. So John Lennon was a famous musician who had a group called the Beatles. And after he finished with the Beatles, he went solo and he wrote some songs solo. And one of his most famous songs is one called Imagine. And the lyrics are simply 1 second, I'm waiting for Goggle to respond. Give me a second. I don't memorize it in my head necessarily.
While you're doing that, Dave,
Yeah.
I would like to say that in a time of crisis and suffering that the world is seeing right now, it's important that we not forget that this is just a small portion of the bigger picture. There are other people who, before this whole pandemic began, suffered on a daily basis, and we need to give our empathy to those people as well.
Exactly, and that's why the words are important. So imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. All right? Now, first of all, he says, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of mankind, in other words. Women included, no sexism. Let's just put that out. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. Again, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will live as one. So, you know, go ahead.
You make a good point.
You like the point? You like the
Yeah.
point? Yeah. Because
Yeah.
to me, it doesn't matter what people believe. To me personally, it doesn't matter to me whether people believe in a eternal fixing godly force or not. The truth is, if you take God out of the equation, you still got to fix the problem that's before you. You know, we live in a reality that we are in. So we can imagine all sorts of things. We can imagine whatever, but no one imagined coronavirus would be like this. If they did imagine it, we'd be prepared for it. So, therefore, we can imagine quite a bit. But the truth is, we deal with what is in front of us. And that's what we must always remember. So when you grow up, your generation, you know, hopefully they'll all grasp that, you know, we need to think about each other every day. I'm just saying.
I think we're going through a time, not just with coronavirus, but in general, where, to use a biblical parable, the wheat is being separated from the chaff. And the wheat are not necessarily just the people who claim to be Christians, because there are quite a few of them that are the chaff as well. It's not about being an adherent to one religion. It's about being attuned to the will of God. You can call him Buddha, you can call him Allah, you can call him something that the Hebrews are not allowed to say. Well, I suppose they're allowed to say it, but that back in the time of the ancient Hebrews, they used to stone people for saying. So I'm not going to say it on air at the risk of upsetting some of today's Jews.
Okay, so don't put God in a box.
Yeah.
Because the point is that no matter what people's faith is, we still have to fix the problem.
Yeah.
So if you believe in God and you believe it's a judgment, then that gives you all the more worth to fix the problem and admit that there's a problem. If you don't believe in God, it doesn't matter, you're still faced with the problem. So either way, we as humanity must pull together through this, put religion aside, put creed aside, put belief aside, and believe in one another, which is a stronger force.
Exactly.
How's that, Nick?
It Well,
That's it, exactly.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you, sir. So,
I said, and be responsible instead of just saying, someone else will fix it.
Heather? Heather?
Accept your own responsibility.
Exactly. And if you know that you've messed up and done something that is wrong, admit it
Absolutely.
and try to make amends for it.
I mean, we have got to admit, regardless of how painful it may be, we have got to admit that all of us, and I mean all of us, have been thinking more about how many pairs of shoes we've got in the closet, or if we're wearing Gucci this morning, all right, than we have about any possible thing like this that could change the damn planet.
Yeah.
So people are dying because of that consequence. And if we go back to a world where we care more about Gucci than we do about lives, we are seriously going to have to think about our future and the future we're leaving to our children and our children's children. That's all I'm going to say.
I agree with you.
All right.
Me too.
And so do I.
So do you. There you go. It's the voice of the generation.
Wholeheartedly.
Wholeheartedly.
Well, this is kind of frustrating.
What's the matter now?
I can't seem to find my lighter.
Well, I'm sure you'll find it, and then you'll be a whole lot lighter.
Oh, that was awful.
The little elves took it again. The elves took it again. The elves took it again. Ha 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 ha.
I think God is trying to tell me not to smoke anymore.
Okay, I'm gonna go for a little bit because I do have to get something to eat.
Yes, I
Okay.
think. Well,
Okay.
we've been on for 2 hours, and I think our show is normally about that long. So, I think it's more than feasible that we should end this stream as a finished show, and then come back when we can and do the next one. If that's okay with everyone.
That
That's fine
works
with
for
me.
me. That works for me. How about we aim somewhere between the next 4 and 5 hours? Does that work for you guys?
That works around about.
Yeah, it works for me.
But for you,
Okay.
Heather,
Yep. Yeah.
Stuart.
Yeah. So
Okay.
about 10 to 11 our time, Dave.
Yeah, that's about right. Okay, so I just want to thank everyone for listening and everyone
Amen.
listening in the future, and thank you and good night.